to pick up Isiah Thomas full court. So Isiah Thomas hated being picked up full court, hated it, right? So I was picking up full court, and then Rick Mahorn came and hit me with a screen, and I swear I thought I hit a wall. I mean, he hit me so hard, right? So Isiah Thomas, the next possession, goes, "Hey, young fella, I don't mind you picking me up. You know, you can do a little fake hustle, but don't be out here trying to embarrass me now."
Showtime with Coop is powered by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Against my favorite player of all time in Magic Johnson, and then to play with the best player that was in that same era of growing the NBA. You know, I was blessed in the era I played in.
Yeah, I was just telling Coop, like I remember all the series back to my first recollections are 84, 85.
Yep.
So I remember 84, 85, 85, 86, 86, 87, all those finals appearances. But my favorite ever Celtic season is 90-91. Mm-hmm. That season, D, if he didn't get injured and McHale didn't hurt that foot, you guys would have went up against Coop and the Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't know, Coop, were you retired by then?
No, I was done then. You'd have had
we would have had the Lakers, you know.
It would have been Terry Teagle.
Oh, boy. Bird would have had a field day, let me tell you. But the point is that, like, the way fate works, right? He got injured because you guys were better than the Bulls that year. You were better all season long, and Reggie was on his way. I mean, it was just made, like, it was gold.
Here's the funny thing about that year. We went into the All-Star break. I think we were 36-5. And our coaches were all-star coaches. And my rookie dunk contest that year, you know, Bird, McHale, and Parish was an all-star game. And we thought we had a chance. And Larry got hurt, you know, and then Kevin hurt his foot and kind of still struggled a little bit, lost the number one seed. And I think that's one of the reasons why. Detroit, that was that year Detroit beat us, and then they beat Chicago and got
Chicago. No, Chicago beat them.
So I thought that was our opportunity during my time with Bird, McHale, and Parish winning championship.
D, I remember. I'm sorry. I'm being such a fanboy. I remember skipping high school, right? For game one, I think it was. Bird was in traction after game 5. So it's game 1 against the Pistons. Bird's out. I think Zeke was out too. But I remember a pigeon flew out onto the parquet floor, and everybody started chanting, "Larry, Larry." They had a Bruins game that night, so they put the game on during the day. So I faked sick so I could watch it and record it, you know, on a VHS. Yeah. They were all chanting, "Larry, Larry, Larry." Remember? Oh, man, that was just the best. Sorry, Coop.
No, he's hijacked. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, and this is more of a personal story. Other than Magic, and I'm being really honest here, other than Magic, my other 2 favorite players was Dennis Johnson and Michael Cooper. Because they brought an element to the game of defense, which I really thought I knew that could be part of my calling card. So I had an opportunity. Obviously, DJ passed away, to obviously be mentored by him, you know, and him teaching me, you know, how to count dribbles, you know, how to, you know, play pass.
Wait. How to do what, D?
Count dribbles.
I'm the offensive player.
Yeah, when you're playing defense, he taught me how to count dribbles.
No kidding. I mean,
explain that. What is that?
That's what made him so. I always wonder what he used to count dribbles.
Yeah, you know how to count dribbles. So what happens is, he said, "D, this is what you do. Every player bringing the ball to the court has a dribble pattern. When they're comfortable and uncomfortable, it's a 1-2 change, or it's 2-1-2 hesitate change." So he said, watch their pattern when they're comfortable, because they're always going back to that pattern when they're under pressure. So when you're pressuring them on defense, they're always going to do a 1-2 between the legs, 1-2 behind, whatever they're going to do, or 1-2 spin, whatever, or 1-2, whatever. So he said, watch the first part of the game when you're watching the game and figure out their dribble pattern, what they do when they're comfortable, when there's no pressure. Then when you put that heat on them, now when they get really pressured, they're always going to go back to that comfort pattern, because they know they can do it really well. So that's how DJs always pick the ball off people.
Yeah,
because he count dribbles.
No kidding. That
is fascinating.
So I like to think I'm learning. That's
fascinating.
Yeah, that is. And you picked that pattern up from DJ, and that helped you in your defense. Great. I never knew that.
I didn't either.
And DJ, that's actually pretty. You know what? Yeah.
Thinking about it though, you could see how he was stealing the ball that way, because you know you see guys go up and then come up high, and he'd pick the pocket so quick and tap it right to the back to
And
go
he
for a
would
fast break.
always get steals in the fourth quarter when they need him. Now I know why. Because the first half he's blocking.
He was counting. Yeah.
And I always knew that guy was special, man.
That's brilliant.
That was
That's
good.
brilliant.
Dee, want to go back to a little bit more about the DJ, the counting dribbles and stuff like that. That is so amazing to me because I never thought about doing that.
Yeah.
I think unconsciously I would watch people how they dribble, but I never thought about counting the dribbles.
Yeah.
Coming down, and now that I think about it, Isiah Thomas had a pattern, Magic had a pattern, and that's what made DJ such a great defender because all his steals would come in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. But he taught me that my rookie year. He said, "Listen, you want to be a great defender, on the ball defender. You play two things: you play guesses and you play angles. But you got to understand patterns." And he said, "You got to learn how to count dribbles." I said, "What does that mean?" He told me the whole story about how to count the dribbles, different guys' dribble patterns, where they're comfortable, uncomfortable, under pressure. And I would get steals. So I get a lot of steals off the ball. I had long arms. I get a lot of rips off players late in the quarter when they get pressured. And again, when you're a student at a game, like DJ was, that things were taught me. And I would watch you because you would know how to blow up screens. You would guard the best defender, like those type of things that I watched. And again, I wasn't, DJ was 6'4", you 6'6", so I was a smaller guard, but I always wanted to guard the best person and be able to know how to guard somebody on the ball like DJ was great at. And you were great guarding people off the ball. And, basically when they got the ball, kind of, like locking them up, it was, those things is that I don't think enough players nowadays really study the game. Like look back at history and look at how people defended or rebounded or shot or come off screens and things like that. So it's, again, with DJ, I remember I had to pick up Isiah Thomas full court. So Isiah Thomas hated being picked up full court, hated it, right? So I was picking up full court, and then Rick Mahorn came and hit me with a screen, and I swear I thought I hit a wall. I mean, he hit me so hard. Right. So Isiah Thomas, the next possession, goes, "Hey, young fella, I don't mind you picking me up. You can do a little fake hustle, but don't be out here trying to embarrass me. Now, you can pick me up, and if you pick me up the right way, I'll call the screens for you, because Chief way back there." Okay. So I'm just picking him up a little bit, and then he goes, "Screen right," and I'll go, and so he's like, "Okay, we're gonna help each other. You're going to act like you picking me up. I ain't going to let you get your head knocked off." So people don't do that no more. That's how we do it back in the day. We look out for each other. But that was my Isiah Thomas story. Like, he really looked out for me. I think I got hit by Rick Mahorn that one time. He's like, "You don't want to get hit like that again, do you?" I go,
You know what, D? I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing, is that my best DJ or Larry Bird's story was in '85, and DJ told me this because we were very good friends, but during the season, I didn't talk to him. I wasn't, "Hey, Coop," he tried to talk to me, but all season, we broke bread and that whole thing. But he was telling me in '84, when the Celtics were beating us, there was a play, and Casey Jones was trying to draw up a play. And he was trying to think about something like that, and Larry looks over at him and takes his hand and wipes off the whiteboard and said, "Hey, man, fuck this. Give me the ball, rest of you motherfuckers, get out the way."
Well, he still did that. I mean, he would have changed. See, Chris Ford was a coach when I was there. So Chris Ford obviously played with him when they won a championship, and then became the head coach. And he would do the same thing to Chris Ford. He's like, "Man, don't give me those tricky plays. Give me some tricky plays." Like, man, I almost, man, give me the ball. And we're going to do, like, come down, old school. You come down, just straight post up, put in, and just play. Right? You going to guard me or not? You going to double? What you going to do? So those are the days. That's just joy. Our era we played. Not saying this era is not great to look at, but our era was just so much fun because there's so much competition. It was, it was friendship after the season, and we really didn't kind of, like you said, we didn't communicate during the season. Obviously, we didn't have phones and social media and all that stuff. So we knew when we stepped on the court, it was going to be a battle, and then, off the season, hey, we break bread, go over, hang out, whatever, but not during the season. We were not, that's definitely how it worked back then.
Was DJ around the team a lot that year? Because he was
assistant coach. He was assistant coach that year.
He was in '91.
Yeah, he was assistant coach. He was there.
Wow. All right. Yeah, that's great because they released him that year. Or he retired.
Well, I got a lot of flack because the year I got there drafted, that's the year DJ
And
retired.
Brian Shaw came in.
So they're like, well, who's this young kid from Jacksonville that weighs 155 pounds coming to, replace Dennis Johnson? I'm like, I'm not here to replace Dennis Johnson. So, I ended up starting that year. So basically I was replacing Dennis Johnson. So I was kind of like, well, he ain't DJ. So DJ, obviously, taught me a lot and kind of like, hey, this young kid, he's gonna be all right, So it was good. But he was around, which helped my transition a lot my rookie year.
You're listening to Showtime with Coop. Our guest, Dee Brown, one of the greatest Boston Celtic player. I hate to say that, Dee, but I got to give you your honors and stuff like that. Dee, I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, HelloFresh. You look like a guy that's real. You eat well and you do things. Do you cook, Dee?
No, I do. I barbecue a little bit, but HelloFresh is great because I know my daughter uses HelloFresh and gets stuff delivered. So I know it's a great company that has great food.
Fantastic food. I got some. Made this about 5 or 6 times. Dee, I'm a cooker. On my first wife got divorced in my first marriage. Now I'm remarried. Now I've been married to my wife. Now we've been together for 20 years, but we've been married for 15. And the food that you get there is so fresh, and I'm actually shocked because they send you a little menu and things like that to show you how to cook. So if you don't, and your daughter, we're gonna get into her in a minute, probably knows about this because it's fresh food, it's delivered to your door. Don't have to go out and battle the grocery stores and do any picking. They pick the best food for you. So, Dee, we're gonna try to get you some HelloFresh sent to you one time so you can see. Do you cook? You do a little bit, but your wife mainly does the cooking.
Yes.
Okay. See, my family, I cook. My wife's from Sweden, so I don't eat that.
Okay.
That food don't have taste to it or flavor, so I do. She's gonna kill me when she hears this. But HelloFresh, okay, we're gonna get you some, Dee.
All right.
You know what, Dee? When did you know your career was coming to an end?
When you wake up and you're like, man, I got to work out. I got to get to practice 2 hours for 20 minutes of playing time. Like it gets to a point where, your body just tells you that you can't play at a level. And then your mind is still fresh. Your mind is still sharp. But then the things that you thought you could do, you couldn't do. And people are like, oh, I said, man, I used to have hops. Now I just got hopes. Like I couldn't jump anymore. I couldn't like elevate like I wanted to.
So Dee, the pump's been helping you jump higher?
Not no more. And I became like a 3-point shooter. During my career, I led the league in 3-point shooting one year. So I transformed my game to make sure that, wherever my body was telling me what I couldn't do, I could still do other things at a high level. So, once I got to like my 11th year, it just, every day was like, man, hour before practice, warming up to practice, to be at that time, I was a veteran playing maybe 15, 20 minutes a game into my career. And that's when and it's always good to be able to leave on your terms when you've given everything you can give, your body just can't do it anymore. They're not ripping the jersey off your back. You can kind of transition the way you want to transition. So I was very blessed to be able to do that because once I retired, literally the next day I had an office with the Orlando Magic, being a assistant to the general manager. So I was great. My transition was very easy after I retired and ran into the front office the next day.
Dee, you know what? A couple more questions. Thank you so much, man, for the time you've given us, okay? You said you have kids. Your daughter, Lexie, plays. I remember when I was coaching for the WNBA, we were scouting her. I was down in Atlanta Dream. She went to Duke or Maryland?
She started off at Maryland sophomore year, and then they went to 2 Final Fours. So her freshman in the Final Four and sophomore year in Final Four. Then what happened was her freshman year, Maryland was in ACC. The second year, they moved to the Big Ten. And she didn't want to play in the Big Ten. She wanted to play in ACC. She's from the South. She's like, I'm a Big Ten baby. ACC baby. So the Big Ten, they're traveling all over the country. She's playing like, Iowa, Nebraska. They ran through them, went 16-0. She was the most outstanding player. But she wanted to play in ACC. Her dream was always playing ACC, always. So her second choice coming out of high school was Duke. So she transferred to Duke, was there 2 years there. She's the only player in NCAA history to be a AP All-American in 2 different schools. Only player ever, men or women.
And for the listeners out there, got drafted. Now she's with the LA Sparks, doing a great job. Dee, you're proud of all your kids, but how proud of you of her?
I'm proud of her because she paved her own way. I mean, you know, she worked so hard to be a basketball player. She wasn't the most athletic. She ain't the tallest. You know, she's for a female, she's 5'9", 5'10". She can shoot the air out the ball. She's defensive player of the year in ACC her senior year. But I'm proud of her because her journey wasn't easy in the WNBA. She got drafted in the first round, played for Connecticut, didn't play a lot, got traded to Minnesota, played there a couple years. Then got cut, and then went to Chicago, won a championship in Chicago, then got signed as a free agent with LA, and has found a home in LA there. So I'm just proud of her journey that she stuck with who she was, kept working. Right now, she started for the Sparks, averaging like 15 points a game. I think they lost last night, but I'm proud of her just because she paved her own way. So now we go around places, and it used to be, oh, Dee Brown's your dad. Now I'll go somewhere and oh, Lexie Brown, is your daughter. So she's on celebrity status right now, which I'm very proud of, and she's very professional. She handles her business the right way, and that's what I'm more proud of her so far.
Dee, you know what? Really great young lady. I had a chance to do our show. We have a show out here after the games called Slam Dunk, and we had her on, and she's going to come on some more because we go into the finals. But she's just a sharp young lady. You know, a great dad you have been. I mean, not just to her, but to all your kids. But our very articulate young lady, and she found a spot here because I went to the home opener, and she was like, I got her some tickets to one of the playoffs games. So she kind of like went over there, hey, Coach Cooper. It was kind of nice to see. But Dee, before you get out of here, Nick has something for you.
All right, what you got, Nick?
A couple more lightning round ones. So Robert Parish.
Yes. He was the Egg McMahon of the group. Like he was stoic. He's my big brother. Him, DJ, and Robert was my big brother. And Robert.
Dee, hold up. I'm sorry. You said the angry man of the group.
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon.
Maybe angry.
He always looked mad.
But he wasn't.
He's an angry man. But hold on. If you know Chief, and I'm sure you do, he's the funniest dude in the world.
Funny.
He's so funny. And, he's the one. DJ did a lot of stuff for me on the court. Robert did a lot of stuff for me off the court. He taught me how to be professional. He said, D, you're going to come to the game wearing a suit. And he said, D, if you buy 5 suits, I'll match and buy 5 suits for you. So he's like, listen, you're going to come to the game, you're going to dress, Robert always wore suits and his alligator shoes. He said, this is how you're going to come to games. You ain't coming to games in no sweatsuit, team issue gear. You'll come to game in a suit. So he was very good at me of understanding how to present myself off the court, how to be professional, how to talk to people, how to go to a business meeting. But you talk about a guy like the face on the Chief, but he laughed. If Larry was like 2 hours before, Kevin McHale was 2 minutes before, and Chief would kind of get there like right in between. so you talk about, and again, you've been around so many great players, Coop. You know how great players, they all have different personalities. And they all, Larry would be mad because Kevin would get there 2 minutes before practice or not do shoot around. And Kevin would tell him, like, I can give it to you one time a day. You want it 10 o'clock? You want it 7 o'clock? When you want it? Chief, and Chief was like, both of y'all need to shut the hell up. And so Chief was like the mediator. Chief made sure he made everything calm. And you would never see that on the court because you never say anything. But in the locker room, on a plane, practice, he's always a guy like kind of kept them two from knocking each other out.
Yeah, that's under discussed. People don't talk about that. McHale and Bird used to do this a little
all the time. And Chief was a guy that kind of was a guy, like I said, he was Egg McMahon. He was a guy that, oh, that's funny, you know what? And they respected him. They respected Chief. And that was the best thing because he went about his business. He's professional. He came to work every day. He had his lunch pail. Didn't get that fanfare like everybody else did. Was always a key cog. But to me, he was more big brother mentor to me than anybody other than DJ in Boston because he really cared that I just, carried myself the right way.
Reggie Lewis. Tough one.
Gone too early. Gone too early. He was the next one. Like he was the one that was going to carry the torch with the Celtics. We went through a phase. We lost Lynn Bias before I got there, and then the big three retired. Then Reggie passed away. I was the only one left, and Reggie was the guy who's supposed to be my backcourt mate for the next 15 years. Now, I never thought I was going to leave the Celtics when the big three retired, because I knew I had Reggie, and Reggie was that guy. Like he was the only guy seeing Block Michaels fade away like 3 times in one game. He would score, 4 times, probably 4 times, and he would score when he wanted to. He was, people look at Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant back then. Maybe not without, maybe as a little 3-point range, but as far as be able to get a shot off anytime we wanted to, great guy, quiet. He passed away on July 27th.
Yep.
And I remember that day because I remember after he passed away, that next year I really didn't remember my whole season because I was in a fog, because it was a guy that you thought was going to be next to you that was not there. And Donna and his wife, and I still keep in touch with his kids, Regina and Reggie Jr., so I still keep in contact with them.
He's a ball player, isn't he, Reggie Jr.?
He's not bad. He's not a bad ball player.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
He's still loved out here. So I'm in Boston, right? He's loved out here.
Because he, Northeastern.
Yep. Charitable.
Yeah, and he had the turkey giveaway and things like that. But he's a guy that everybody always looks to the side to have a running mate. Like, okay, this is going to be my guy for the next 10 years.
We thought that too. Fans.
And it goes away, and all of a sudden you're left to being the man. And I wasn't prepared to be the man. I was a 19th pick in the draft. Like, Celtics legends. Bird, McHale, Parish, and all the legends down the road from Hines and Kuzia, Havlicek, and now Dee Brown. Like, so I miss him every day. It's tough to. When I see 35 run around anywhere, I always think about him. But definitely a person that was gone too early who could have definitely, changed the landscape of the 90s for the Boston Celtics, for sure.
This is my last thing. I just want to thank you because when shit went bad, you kept us with dignity and pride and made us never embarrassed in those late the mid-late 90s. Like you really handled yourself like a Celtic, and not a lot of people did back then. So it means a lot to us legacy fans.
Appreciate it. It was lean times.
It was.
Once everybody, retired and passed away, we had a transition of coaches and players coming in, and
Were you there when Patino was there?
Which one?
You weren't there when Patino.
Yeah, he's the one who traded me.
He traded you, didn't he, to Toronto, right?
Yeah, another hour.
That dickhead.
That's another story. But.
Yeah. No, tell it. Go ahead. No.
No.
I'd hear it. No, it's all right.
Dee, we're going to have you on another time, man.
Definitely.
To tell that story. But listen, thank you so much. Listeners, you heard it here. So if you are a bettor, go to FanDuel and bet, because you heard Dee Brown say that the Celtics are going to be the first team out of 150 teams to come back and win, after being down 0-3 and come back and win a series. I'm calling bullshit because that's the name of the show, Coop. Showtime with Coop. But Dee said it here. Dee, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Dee.
Appreciate you. Love you, dude. And you know what, Dee? If they come back and win this, I'm going to have to buy you something. But I'm not a believer yet.
Okay.
Not a believer. But if they do, you are something special.
I appreciate that.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dee.
Dee.
Take
Thank
care,
you,
my
Dee.
man.
Thank you, man.
Showtime with Coop is powered by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.